Hey guys, welcome back to another Tender Productions video, and today we're going to be talking about the British Empire in India. Basically, the British Empire in India, also known as the British Raj, started when the British Crown ruled the Indian subcontinent from 1858 to 1947. Except the British didn't get to control all of the Indian subcontinent because there were more than 560 principalities that were independently governed. Before the British Crown began ruling, everything that Britain wanted to do was done through the British East India Company. The British were extremely involved in economic affairs with India.
In 1869, the Suez Canal was completed, which caused British trade to increase with India and allowed the British to maintain a stronger hold in India. They expanded production of crops, opium in Bengal, coffee in Ceylon, and tree in Assam. Through the British, they were able to import manufactured goods, which led to a large amount of expansion in India. In the latter half of the 19th century, another significant trend was the emergence of the commercialization of agriculture. So far, agriculture had been a way of life rather than a business enterprise. Now, agriculture began to be influenced by commercial considerations. Certain specialized crops began to be grown not for the consumption in the village, but rather for the sale in the national markets and even some international markets. Cheap and machine-made imports flooded the Indian market after the Charter Act of 1813. This allowed one-way free trade for British citizens, which really helped the Indian economy, but also helped the British. The British were a clear reason for Indian industrial expansion, and also helped with the creation of steamboats, massive canal buildings, and much more. In the 1840s, they also constructed railroads and telegraph lines. In 1870, India had the fifth largest rail network in the world. Railroads were originally for British commerce, but then became ways of local transportation.
In 1757, the East India Company established hold of India, and by 1877, Queen Victoria of Great Britain established direct control of India's central government. Because the British established a strong hold on India, this promoted nationalism of the Indian people and the desire to establish Indian identity. Remember those transportation and communication systems we talked about earlier? Yeah, those actually helped to aid the Indian independence struggle. By 1904, the British laid out 28,000 miles of railroad, and the Sepoy rebellions broke out in India. The Sepoys were native troops hired by the British to regulate and maintain control during trade. They outnumbered the British almost 10 to 1. The sparks that caused rebellion were mainly due to the way the Sepoys thought the British weapons worked. The Sepoys thought that the rifles they fought with were loaded with the help of cow oil, which were animals sacred to the Sepoys' religion, Hinduism. The Sepoys saw this as an insult and thought that this was an attempt by the British to convert the Sepoys to Christianity. The result was a mass rebellion, and the Sepoys crushed the British garrison and took control of India for a short period of time. 6 months later, fresh British troops arrived and crushed the rebellion. Although the rebellion was crushed, Queen Victoria allowed India to have a viceroy, which is a legal official that acts as a representative for the monarch. The viceroy helped the Indians gain the freedom to practice their religion and also gain equal protection. An Indian service exam was also created, but since the exam could only be taken in Great Britain, only one Indian was successful.
In terms of social status, the Indians were considered inferior to the British, and they were barred from holding office and other positions that were open to the English. In 1833, they made slavery illegal, along with sati, and in 1844, they made knowledge of the English language compulsory. So much for the British trying to preserve Indian culture. Fun fact, cricket was introduced to India by the British, but they've never won a World Cup in cricket. Good job, Britain. But Britain also brought over lots of good ideas, like liberty, equality, freedom, and human rights that they got from the Renaissance and the Reformation movement.
The increased use of railroads and steamships in India led to environmental problems such as deforestation and pollution. The colonial state started to tighten control over forest zones for revenue and ban shifting cultivations in the reserved forests.
The British substituted private property for India's complex and overlapping patterns of landholding. Private ownership made it easier for the state to collect taxes, which paid for the administration and the army. Many Indian princes created and used traditions to resist British rule, thus resulting in the more than 560 princely states. The British also established forest policies that promoted the general welfare of the people, preserved the physical condition of India, and fulfilled the need of the people. So that about wraps it up for this video. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more. This is Tender Productions, and we'll see you next time.
help to aid the Indian
Crops began to be grown, not for the consumption in the village, but rather for national and even international markets. Like, why'd you screw that up?
Why can't I be a solid?
It's recording.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Skaters here.
Led to environmental problems such as deforestation and pollution. Are those transportation and communication systems we talked about earlier?